Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We have a great show for you today, and if you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857, and we'll be here till about 8:30 or 9 o'clock tonight. We'll see how it goes. Me and Beeb always gauging the waters. We'll see how it happens. All right, so today we're going to get to, is Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo Alvarez set for May 2nd? Is it official? Is it not official? Will he fight him? Will he not fight him? I don't know. We'll let you know. All right. And a huge women's fight is signed. But first, we get started with the PBC on Fox. Adam Kownacki versus Robert Helenius. Let me tell you what, man. There was a lot of upsets this weekend. This by far one of the biggest ones out there. Robert Helenius knocks out Adam Kownacki in the 4th round. This was a good fight, man. I think we even said it last week that the fight was going to be competitive, that it was going to be a tough fight, but I didn't expect Helenius to win. You know, I expected Kownacki to come through on that. I thought Kownacki was doing good work throughout the fight. I thought he was actually winning the fight. But Helenius, he was also catching him with some shots, man. In the 4th round, and Beeb, you tell me, man, he caught him with that right hand that was flush and dropped him, and the ref called it a slip. No slip, right? That was a punch.
That was a knockdown.
Knockdown, clear knockdown, man. The referee called it a slip. I'm not sure what that guy was watching, but it was a clear knockdown. Moments later, Helenius jumped on him, dropped him again. This time it was called a knockdown. Kownacki beat the count. Helenius just pounced on him after that, and the fight was stopped, man. I'll tell you what, man. I was really happy for Robert Helenius last night. He's a guy who's been around. He's fought a who's who in the heavyweight division for a lot of big names. He's fought a lot of big names in that heavyweight division. He's been there for a really long time, and hopefully he can come up with a big money fight after this. This was good, man. I like seeing stuff like this, and I love Adam Kownacki. Don't get me wrong, but this was good, man. I like seeing this. Beeb, what were your thoughts on this?
Let's talk about the referee missing that knockdown, because this is
how he missed that thing.
It's happening too much. We're seeing a lot of knockdowns and fights get missed, and I think these referees really need some work. They really need to learn how to get in position better and really need to stay on top of the fight. But Kownacki was winning the whole fight. Obviously, he was winning 4 rounds of the fight.
Well,
But he was winning. He won the first 3. But you know what? Even though the rounds he won, he won them. But you could see that Helenius was still making contact. He was still getting his shots in.
Yeah.
He was letting Kownacki know that I'm here, brother, and I'm not going anywhere. And it was just amazing how that right hand just totally diffused him like that. You want to talk about picture-perfect right hands right on the point of the chin. That was a punch that just shut down Kownacki's nervous system almost instantly. And when he got up, he didn't have his legs at all.
And it didn't matter that it wasn't called a knockdown. I mean, it still did the damage. I mean, he never was the same after that first shot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It shut down his nervous system.
Right.
Because, again, we're seeing these equilibrium shots more and more and more, and that was kind of like an equilibrium shot too. And then the punch that actually knocked him down, like officially, was right on the point of the chin. That one was like boom. You know what I'm saying? So these were just 2 perfectly placed right hands, and unfortunately for Kownacki, he just got hit in the right spots and he just couldn't recover. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Because I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how durable the guy is, how great a chin the guy has. If you get hit in certain spots, your nervous system's going to shut down on you, and it is what it is. That's why I get so pissed at Teddy Atlas when he questions these guys. I mean, because physiologically, there's certain points, certain parts of the body you can get hit in, and you're just gonna shut down, and there's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is crazy. Like all the PBC guys are getting like they're getting upset like crazy. You got Wilder, you got Ruiz, now you got Kownacki. So who's next?
But in fairness, I mean, they're fighting good guys. It's not like they're not fighting solid competition. I think Helenius is definitely solid competition.
No, he
shouldn't have lost the fight.
Yeah.
But these are solid guys they're fighting.
Yeah, he's not a powder puff. Don't get me wrong. He's not a journeyman Helenius. He's a ranked fighter.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll be even higher ranked now.
I would like to see him getting a bigger fight. You know what I mean? And getting a money fight after all this. I mean, like I said, man, he's been around. He's fought a lot of good guys, a lot of good heavyweights. He's been around for a long time. I mean, I'm hoping he gets, this kind of puts him over the top to get a money fight or something like that.
Yeah, I would hope that would happen for him. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, that would be nice for him.
That would be a good look, right?
I think so. All right, so let's talk about. Let's see here. So before we get to the next fight, this was funny. Actually, you know what? Before we get to that, Adam Kownacki, a lot of people on Twitter, on social media, were killing this guy yesterday, saying that he blew his chance, he blew his big shot at Anthony Joshua. He should fire his management and everything like that. They said that Kownacki should fire his management because they told him they were saving him for Wilder and not Joshua. He could have fought Joshua, but his management team told him, no, you're going to fight Wilder instead, and kept him for that. Let me tell you right now, you guys have no idea what you're talking about. Not even a little bit. You guys are so far off base. So far. This is what I'm talking about. Here. Okay, Outlaw. $7 million down the drain, got knocked out for a couple $100,000. He should have taken the AJ fight. He's right. You should have taken the AJ fight. I get it 100%. But in not that Outlaw is saying this, but I'm saying on social media last night, this was kind of like the narrative on social media.
Why, he was offered $7 million to fight Joshua too?
I don't think so. First of all, I don't think so.
I never even knew he was offered the Joshua fight in the first place.
He was. They asked him about the fight. But he turned it down because of his conditioning. He was not in shape to take the fight. And that's why he turned it down. It had nothing to do with his management. It had nothing to do with anything else. It had the fact that he himself turned the fight down because him and Jarrell Miller, I don't know if they trained together or not. Or
yeah, they were stablemates at one point.
Yeah.
Trained at the same gym and stuff.
So it made sense that, that could be the next guy you go after would be Kownacki. Kownacki said he wasn't in fighting shape. He wasn't in shape to face AJ. His management didn't have anything to do with it. And you could say, yeah, he blew $6 million or $7 million, whatever you want to say. Listen, if the guy can't fight, he can't fight.
Well, how is he going to get $7 million if Ruiz only got like $5 million? Didn't Ruiz get like $4 or $5 million? So why would they offer him $7? I don't get that.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, so like Outlaw said, he said $7 million down the drain. He got knocked out. But in a sense, like I said, if he was in shape and he took the fight, maybe that's true, and maybe he's in Ruiz's place. Who knows? But the bottom line is, most people were saying, oh, he should fire his management, PBC, blah, blah, blah. PBC had nothing to do with it. Kownacki is the one that turned down the fight.
It's up to the fighter to take the fight or not. And if you're advised by your management to do something and you listen to them, then you have to take ownership of the decision. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And if he was in shape and he was ready, why? I mean, again, he came out and said, I was not in shape.
Okay, so here's the thing. People say, who cares if you're in shape, blah, 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 blah. Then if he went in there and put on a shitty performance, then you know what you guys would have said?
Oh my God.
He just took it for the money. He just took it for the money. He just went in there for a payday. He had no intention of winning the fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was going to get, no matter what happened to this guy, he was going to get ragged on unless he beat Anthony Joshua like Ruiz did.
Right.
And that's the thing, you guys, you want to be Monday morning quarterbacks, and you want to, say things, after the fact. But if you went in there and got blown out. And if you went in there and he was heavier than normal, you would have said, oh, he didn't train for the fight. He wasn't in shape. He just went in there for a payday. Fuck him, blah, 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 blah. That's what you would have said. So you would have ranked on him either way. You guys would have ranked on him even if he took the fight and he didn't put on a good performance.
You know, and now...
You know, again, like, why would you take a fight? Like, when you go in there for a title fight, you go in there to win. You want to win. You're like,
sure.
Who takes a title fight just to say I you know,
I challenged for it.
Just to be there. You know what I'm saying? You want to win the fight.
Right.
Right.
And he knows himself. I mean, he knows himself.
Why should he fire his entire team? He was the one.
He
wasn't in shape. His team didn't say he wasn't in shape. I'm sure if he wanted to fight, then they would have supported it.
I mean, that's the thing, man. You know, he's not, again, I mean, he knows if he can fight or he can't fight. That's it, you know?
So what happens? Okay, you guys, what happens if he wins? What happens if he wins last night, and then he becomes the mandatory, and then he gets a shot, and then he gets more money now than he would have gotten back then. Then he would have been a genius, right?
Yeah.
All he got to do is go back and fight this guy again, and if he knocks him out, then all will be forgiven. Yeah,
both Outlaw and Copendo 9 says, and why isn't he in shape? He's meant to be in shape and ready. That's his job.
Oh yeah, are you in shape right now? Like how many? let me call you up after the day after Thanksgiving, and let's
run a marathon.
Let's go for a fucking 20-mile run.
Right.
And let me ask you if you're in fucking shape. No one's in shape 24/7. I don't care what anyone says. No one's in peak condition 24/7.
No, and I see where they're going with it. I mean, you know, because you want to be ready for those. Right. You know, you want to be ready for those the calls and everything like that. But listen, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, JC said he's ready. He stays ready. There you go.
Go fight for a title, then, JC.
Go fight. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Go fight for a title. Yeah, but I see where they're coming from. I see where they're coming from and everything. But yeah, I get it. But yeah, it's still his deal, man. Georgie says there ain't no coming back. There's no coming back easy of this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Same thing everyone was saying when Joshua, when he lost to Ruiz. Oh, he's done.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. You get written off fast. This whole Floyd Mayweather thing, man. When you lose a fight, you get written off fast, man.
Yeah. You know, this is the thing. You know, we have a cancel culture now in media.
In what?
Media. We have like what's called a cancel culture in media, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like these celebrities or these comics, anyone that's famous, they're digging up tweets from 10 years ago, and they use, like, you know, the whole Kevin Hart thing, you know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Now we have a cancel culture in boxing. You lose one fight, you're done. We're going to cancel you. It's like, come on, guys, stop.
And you know where this comes from? It comes from Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather saying, "Well, I'm 15-0, I'm the best ever. You know, I've never lost. How can you say I'm not great?" Well, in that instance, well, then Rocky Marciano's better than Ali too.
Yeah. Well, see, now here's what Floyd Mayweather's doing now, right? Like, he's talking shit about Canelo. They call him Can Luzo. That's what he's calling him, Can Luzo, because he's got one loss. He's got one loss, big deal. Technically, you could have had a couple losses on your record too, Floyd. I mean, I thought you lost the first Castillo fight.
I thought he lost that fight, yeah.
You know, some people thought you lost the first Maidana fight. I don't think you did, but I mean, it was close.
Yeah.
Right? Jesus Christ.
So yeah, man. So give the guy a break, man. And like we said it before going in. It's a good fight. It's a good fight. It wasn't a 50-50 fight. It wasn't that Kownacki was going to go in there and destroy him.
Yeah.
But I thought Kownacki, or I thought Helenius could give him a big fight. I thought he could give him a fight and push him a little bit. And it turns out he did, man.
Georgie, the fans can't get in the ring and fight for you. We're not talking about fans and money. We're talking about winning. We're talking about the actual boxing. Enough with the straw man arguments. Jesus Christ.
Georgie. All right, before we go to the Jagba fight, man, let's talk about the big news last night that everybody was hyping. This actually came out, what was it, Thursday or Friday, Beeb? I think it was Thursday. Randy Gordon from Sirius Boxing Channel or something like that. Him and Jerry Cooney, I believe, do a show. I've never listened to it, but
yeah,
I mean, you know, whatever. So they said that, I guess apparently Joe Goosen was on that show, and he dropped some kind of hint that he was going to be, getting a new fighter or something like that. And Randy Gordon says, hey, I think it's going to be Deontay Wilder.
Which I don't know why.
And I mean, whatever. I mean, heavyweight, whatever. I mean, that's his opinion. That's who he thought.
I don't know why.
I don't know either, but
I thought it was going to be Ruiz.
Everybody took this and ran with it like it was like gospel, And Randy Gordon, he was just offering his opinion.
That's his opinion.
He was just offering his opinion. He didn't do anything wrong, man. I mean, he was just offering his opinion. They took that thing and wrote it like Seabiscuit, man. So Joe Goosen announces yesterday that he's going to be the new coach, new trainer of Kubrat Pulev. Oh my goodness! So that was the big news last night. Everybody was suspecting it was going to be either Ruiz or Wilder or whatever. Kubrat Pulev was the big name. Do you think Wilder gets anybody new in his corner? I don't think he gets anybody new in his camp.
Well, here's another thing that's going around. I guess to hear the thing like he's gonna supposedly now he's gonna let George Foreman help him. I guess. This is the story. Now this is what people, they hear something and then you see 15 articles written about it.
Yeah.
They're taking something from the box from Ness, because Ness, I guess, texted Wilder and asked him, are you gonna let Foreman help you? And I guess he said he has a meeting with supposedly he texted Ness back and said he has a meeting with Foreman. So he's supposed to meet with Foreman. Going back to what I said. He's going to sit down and talk to the guy. Does that mean that it's an automatic he's going to train? And this is what it frustrates the shit out of me that now everyone ran with this like, oh yeah, it's a done deal, blah blah blah. He's gonna like he's got paperwork with on Foreman now, whatever. Like he said he's going to sit and talk with Foreman. What is that? That doesn't mean that Foreman's going to train him,
right?
But everyone ran with it.
And either way, man, I tell you what, either way. George Foreman is, I mean, he's great. I love the guy. I think he's a great personality and everything like that. But, yeah, man, I don't know how good or how helpful he's going to be in that corner. I'll be honest. I love how
all these people come out of the woodwork and they're like, yeah, I could do this, I could do that. Like, Wilder is who he is. I'm going to be honest with you. I just think Fury's a much more talented fighter. He's just a better fighter.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
And if Wilder doesn't knock him out, he's not going to win. He's just not going to outbox this guy. I just don't see him.
I said it last night when we were watching the fights. I said it last night when Joe Goosen made that announcement. I said, look, it doesn't matter if Manny Stewart came back to train Deontay Wilder. He ain't winning that fight. Manny Stewart couldn't even change this guy. He's like another Jermaine Taylor. As soon as he get hit, he's going to go back to what he knows because he's done it for too long. He's done the same thing for too long. You know what I mean? He can't change.
I mean, if you go down the list of things that Fury has over Wilder, it's like he has better balance. He's got better footwork. You can even argue he's got faster hands.
Oh, he does. I think he does.
He can fight from the outside. He can fight in the mid-range. He can fight on the inside. Wilder can only fight from the outside. Wilder's one-handed. Fury can punch with both hands. Fury can go southpaw. Like what can Wilder?
So what do you do with that? Right? What do you do with that?
What can Wilder do better than Fury? You can say, oh, maybe he's got a harder right hand than Fury's. I don't. Well, Fury got up and actually, I thought, won the fight after getting knocked down twice with Wilder's right hands. Okay?
Yeah, I did too.
Fury lands his right hands, and Wilder couldn't recover from them. So, by Wilder having a harder right hand than Fury, is that an advantage to him if Fury can take his right hand and Wilder can't take his? This is why I laugh. Oh, Fury can't punch. Well, I'm not going to stand there and let a 6'9", 270-pound guy punch me.
You imagine how hard he hits?
Okay.
6'9", 270, punching down. Come on, man. BJ London says Wilder can't win the fight? ? Yes, Wilder cannot win that third fight. No way.
I mean, he can.
Unless Tyson Fury trips and breaks his leg on the way to the ring.
It's impossible because I thought that Joshua wasn't going to win his rematch either, but this is a whole different animal in Fury.
Whole different animal. I told you, Joshua can adapt. Joshua can fight. We knew Joshua could fight. We've seen him box before. I've never seen Wilder box.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
It's a tough task for him, man. There's no question about it.
It's a tall order. It is a tall order for that guy, man. And quite honestly, I think it's the wrong move. A lot of people think it's the wrong move going right back into a rematch with that guy. But hey, they're going to cash him out.
And here's the crazy.
That's what I really believe. It's cash out.
Here's the crazy thing. Fury can still come back and be even better in the third fight. Fury can be better. Like the Fury we saw in this second Wilder fight was the best Fury we've seen. This could have been his career best performance of all time. Right? And he could be getting better. Ralph makes a great point in the chat. He said he can even get better training with Sugar Hill. Because you could argue this is the best trainer he's ever had. Right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's the best trainer he's ever had, but on the biggest fight, on the biggest fight of his career, I mean, he had the best performance. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. I don't know if he's the best one or not, but, I mean, he was that night.
Christian Lelock says, Beeb, how would you train Wilder? I would start from the ground up. First, I would try to help him with his balance and his footwork. I would try to bring those feet closer together. I would fucking do the Rocky thing. I'd put the fucking rope around his legs and
teach
just
him
have
balance,
him.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, I would just have him fucking throw jabs like for an hour and just say, get in the habit of just throwing your jab, doubling it, tripling it, and stop just parring with it. That's number two. Number three, I would say, put shots together. Don't sit there with your right hand cocked like you're ready to kill somebody. Be more fluid with your punches. Be more fluid with your punches. Just try to throw some setup punches, some throwaway punches like Fury. See how many throwaway punches? See how many people make like Fury? Oh, he slaps. Yeah, Roy Jones used to slap too. He would slap. He'd be like tat 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 with the left hand, but then he would go boom up underneath with the 45-degree hook. So not everything has to be a home run. I would definitely train him to up his work rate and throw more punches and not try to take your head off with every single punch and mix the power shot in there. That's what I would do. That's it. I'd love to train Wilder. I'd do it for free.
Just jab. Just show him a jab.
I'd do it for free.
Show him how to jab.
All he would have to do is take me out to dinner a few times. I'd be all set.
He's big enough to win the fight with a jab. He really is. Wood said he'd have him punch meat in the freezer for 2 hours. But he can win the fight with a jab alone. But he can't, because I don't believe he could change.
Mr. Boxing
I don't believe he could change.
Mr. Boxing Today just made an excellent suggestion in the chat. He said he'd love to see Stacey McKinley train Wilder. And you know what, Mr. Boxing Today? I think that would be a good fit. Stacey McKinley is definitely a guy who teaches people how to work off the jab, fight tall, and teaches them how to box. Teaches them how to set shots up and not force the knockout, but let the knockout come to them. Yeah.
Well, and again, man, I think that with Wilder, though, again, you said, what was the first thing you said? First thing you said, we'd start from the ground up.
Yeah.
He's too old. How much time does that take, Beeb? How much time does that take? Starting somebody from the ground up to prepare him to go in to fight for the biggest title in history. And you're going to beat this guy who arguably you won 2 rounds out of 17 against.
3. Let's give him 3.
3? You're gonna give him 3? All right. Well, let's give him 3. Let's give him 3. Why
We
not?
both gave him
today,
3
baby.
rounds. We both gave him 3 rounds on our scorecard in the first fight.
All right. Let's be generous. Let's give him 3.
Yeah.
We could argue 2, but let's give him 3 out of 17 rounds. He was knocked out cold in the second fight, man. Like what? Not cold, but he was knocked out. I mean, again, man, there's nothing he can do. I don't care who you bring in. Doesn't matter who you bring in.
Yeah.
And Wood said he needs a teacher of fundamental boxing. Nothing is impossible. You're right. But let me tell you what is impossible. The time frame. He could learn to box, but he ain't going to learn to box that quick. Not in a couple of months, man. That's the way it goes.
That'd be interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about another heavyweight man here. On the undercard, F.A. Ajagba versus Razvan Kajanu. I thought this was going to be another good fight. This was a solid fight, too, I thought. Ajagba wins via 9th round TKO over Kajanu. Let me tell you what, man. Ajagba really impressed me in this fight. He had a guy with good experience and really broke him down with body shots. He really did. Just went to the body.
He's a good body puncher.
He really is. For a heavyweight, you never really see heavyweights going to the body. This guy did, man. Ajagba has really worked on his boxing, and it shows, man. This is the best win to date for Ajagba. And that's the good news. Now, you look at it and you watch, and he's a good prospect, good up-and-comer. I hope they don't rush him too fast. You know what I mean? I hope they don't rush him too fast. And he's got some fundamental flaws, Beeb. And you know what I noticed, and you may have noticed this in past fights, but I noticed it last night. When he's throwing, he tends to throw hook shots, and he tends to throw them like super wide.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw tight hooks.
No,
he doesn't throw the 45s. He throws like the big wide hooks.
Yeah.
Not to mention, when he throws them, he comes across here, right? And he comes across here, and where do his hands go? Right down to his chest area.
Yeah.
Right down to his chest area. And he stays there for a little bit before he puts them back up.
Yeah.
That's a bad move, man. Somebody's got to correct that like now.
Who used to do that a lot too? Margarito.
Yeah.
Margarito was real, as Teddy Atlas likes to say, fat with his punches.
That's a good point. That's a good way to put it. He's very fat with his punches. But Mike Tyson, when it almost reminded me of like the Mike Tyson when he was done throwing a combination, where do the hands go? Right to his chin and then up. He touched his chin. It was automatic after every combination or everything he threw. Hands to the chin, hands go up. And that helped him keep his hands up. It was automatic. Touch your chin. Automatic. But to me, that's the biggest, that's one of the bigger flaws I see in him. He's got a lot of upside. He's got a really good upside. He showed last night he could box, as well as he has power, because he wasn't going to get that guy out of there in one shot. He wasn't going to get this guy out of there. So he went to the body, wore him down, stayed on top of him. He looked good, man. He really impressed me last night. Really impressed me. All right, let's talk about Frank Sanchez versus Joey Dawejko, how do you say it? Dawejko? Deveco?
Can I jump in real quick for one little side note?
Of course.
Ryan Hong says, and I didn't even know this. Helenius was a plus 2,000. He was a 20-1 underdog.
Yeah, he was. He was actually a 40. I read he was a 40-1 underdog.
Yeah, I didn't know he was that.
Sport books were 20-1 though.
Yeah, and that's why Georgie, I'm comparing this fight to the AJ fight in the sense that both guys lost to guys they were like favorite big over, like 20-1 favorites. Joshua was a 20-1 favorite over Ruiz the first time, and Kownacki was a 20-1 favorite over Helenius. And just like Joshua came back and rematched Ruiz and won, let's not say Kownacki can't come back and be. Can you honestly say that you can't envision Kownacki coming back and beating Helenius? I think he could beat him.
Absolutely.
No, anyone, not just you, anyone out there. So
yeah, for sure.
This
isn't the end of Kownacki's run, man. I think he's still got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah.
King Nello says Dweco didn't win a round. No, he sure didn't.
Yeah, Dweco got outclassed. He got outclassed big time.
Yeah, he really did. All right, so let's talk about the Frank Sanchez versus Joey Dweco. Frank Sanchez, of course, wins a unanimous decision over Joey Dweco. Somebody actually gave Joey Dweco 2 rounds in that fight. I couldn't find him. This fight was completely one-sided. Dweco really had his problems with Sanchez's movement throughout the fight, man. And it was a good fight for Sanchez. It was a whitewash, and he moves his record and everything like that. But let me tell you what, man. I like Sanchez, and I think he has a big upside to him, but I need to see him sit down on his shots more. I think that a pressure fighter may give him some issues, man. He's got that Cuban style where he likes to move and hit, doesn't like to take a lot of shots and everything like that, which, hey, it's understandable. I get it. But when he does this, there's zero power on those shots. He doesn't have a whole lot of power. And he's a big guy, so he should have a lot of power on those shots. So the thing with me, with Sanchez, to me, BJ London said he had 200-plus amateur fights. Yeah, and I remember that. Yeah, but he's got to get out of that amateur style of just like pity pat. You know what I mean? He's got to, and he moves well. He boxes very well, but I need to see him sit down on his shots. You know what? When I saw this guy fight, you know what I immediately thought about? I thought, like, what about Alexander Usyk against this guy? Because Alexander Usyk, not a big heavyweight. We don't know if he's going to carry that power up to heavyweight, you know, against solid name guys. I think it's a good. I think it would, you know, it'd be a good match. But again, he's got a lot of experience, so I don't know if that ever comes out. That being said, that's what I thought of when I saw these two. But I tell you what, man, yeah, he's got a good upside. He's got a solid, but he's not a very crowd-pleasing fighter. And for as big as this guy is, as strong as this guy is, he should be. He should be able to sit down on those punches because he could have got Dweco out of there. I think that if he put his foot on the gas, laid it down, he probably could have had Dweco hurt or in trouble or possibly even got him out of there. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, but Sanchez definitely a good fighter. That's good. He's definitely a guy you got to watch. Tosh Bear says that he's definitely not 27. If he's 27, man, he is the most shot up 27-year-old I've ever seen because he does not look 27, my man.
Dweco's a tough cookie, though.
Yeah, Mr. Boxing Today says Dweco isn't easy to get out of there. No, he's not. He's not. But again, as much as Dweco was getting hit, I think that if he sat down, he may have had him out of there. He may have gotten him out of there. He may have hurt him. But I'm just saying that Sanchez fought a good fight. Dweco's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's the guy that was rumored to knock out AJ in sparring before that first Ruiz fight, Dweco. So we know he's tough. But that being said, again, Sanchez, as much as he outclassed him last night, you think could have sat down somewhere and maybe put some punches together and tried a little bit, to get him out of there versus just cruising to a decision. That's my only complaint with the guy. That's it. So, all right. Another fight you guys missed. It was non-televised. You may have caught it on YouTube. I don't know. From Irving, Texas, Evan Holyfield versus Dylan Carlson. Holyfield wins by unanimous decision over Carlson in their 4-rounder. Fun fact, Evan Holyfield was ranked number 1 in the country in his weight class when he was 13 for Taekwondo. How insane is that? When he was 13, his weight class, he was number 1 in the country. So the guy's got to have really good footwork. The guy's got to have, he's got to have that mental toughness. That's not easy things to do, But again, man, he's getting a lot of run, Beeb. A lot of run for this guy for just being like 4-5-0 and just, a few pro fights. And he's getting a lot of pressure starting to build on this guy. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know. Could be either.
All depends on how he receives it, right?
That's true. That's true. Very true. All right, let's talk about the zone. Heartbreaker, man. This was just a heartbreaking fight for me. Jean O'Carroll versus Scott Quigg. John O'Carroll wins by 11th round TKO over Scott Quigg, man. I was pretty disappointed in Quigg's performance here. He lost just about every round. It was one-sided. It was a one-sided beating that ended with his corner throwing in the towel. This had to be so disheartening to Quigg. It was anybody who's watched Scott Quigg in the past and saw this fight had to be heartbroken. I mean, watching this fight, I was just like, oh, man. And you just knew. I mean, he was getting demolished from round one. I mean, he was getting completely schooled. Carroll, and you know, the word John O'Carroll only has 4 knockouts on his record. Quigg called him feather-fisted leading into the fight, and to get knocked out by this guy is just like, oh, man. You know, you and I, we followed Scott Quigg from the beginning of his career, man. We followed him from the beginning of his career, watched him come up, watched him win titles, watched him in his big fights and everything like that. It was just heartbreaking to watch this, man. And Gareth Davies actually reported today that Scott Quigg is actually retired after the loss, and I think it's probably a good move. He's had a great career, and what else is left for him? You know what I mean? I think he's probably coming out at the right time. Earthquake said Quigg's corner should have stopped it. Yeah, they probably should have.
Yeah,
if they did, I mean, they probably should have stopped it earlier. You're right. I mean,
yeah.
Raphael Dawkins said it's the end of the road for Scott Quigg. Yeah, he retired, but yeah. I don't know, man. I tell you, it's just it was disappointing. Beeb, what were your thoughts on this fight?
Well, after the Oscar Valdez fight, you could see that Quigg was starting to kind of decline a little bit. And in this fight, this was just the culmination of a tough career coming to a head. You know what I mean? He's been in a lot of wars. He reminds me of sort of like Ricky Hatton, how he just gets in there and really tries to grind it out on the inside.
Yeah.
And he's not afraid to take one to give one. And unfortunately, that type of style takes miles off of a career. And we saw that last night.
I thought he beat Frampton, though.
I didn't think he beat Frampton.
I thought he beat Frampton. I thought he came back. I thought the first five or so rounds, and I thought Quigg put on the gas. But I like Quigg. So
yeah,
that could have been played. You know what I mean?
With that being said, though, you know, he was the type of guy that got the best out of what he had. You know what I'm saying? He said it perfectly at the end of the fight. He said, I gave it everything I had. I left nothing. I left everything I had in that ring when I fought. And that couldn't have been said any better, because that's perfectly describes this guy's career. Last night you could see the reflexes were gone. You could see how he was trying to get off, but he was just always that 2 steps behind. And he just couldn't get out of the way of shots. He would throw a punch, try to bring his hands back to his face, but he just couldn't bring it back in time. You could see, ironically enough, I think what was said last night was they asked him a question about, you know, you're at that point now where you know what you want to do, but your body just won't allow you to do it.
Yeah.
And you could tell that, you know, this was a guy that the brain wasn't in tune with the rest of the body. So you could tell that he knew what he wanted to do. He knows how to fight. But everything he did, he was just a step or two behind, getting off, and that split second that you lose as you get older when your reflex is dull, can mean everything in a fight, right? Because boxing's a game of inches. It's a game of seconds sometimes, you know. And just being that little bit off when you're in there with someone who's on their game 100%, you know, can make a huge difference. And he even said, you know, if this was me in my prime, I don't think that this guy would have been able to stay in there with me. But he knows now. He could feel it. Like sometimes you go in there and you just hit that wall. And I think, you know, even when you're in training camp, you don't know until you actually get in the ring and you do hit that wall. And I guess he found that out last night, that, you know, this is the end for me. So it was pretty disheartening. It's sad. Because it's hard to not like Quigg. Quigg is just a likable person. Seems like a really great guy. He's kind of like a just a regular down to earth type guy. He's a family man. I think he lived with his mother for a long, like even when he was boxing still, and just a really, like I said, really good person. You know, he just comes across as a really good person. So it's hard to root against him. Yeah. So people like that, you hate to see them lose, but I'm kind of happy for Carroll too. I mean, this was a great win for him. He's got a good name on his record now.
Man, he sure does.
And this could catapult him into some possible decent paydays for himself. So it was hard to see Quigg lose like that, but it was it's good passing of the torch type fight, so to speak, to Carroll. So
yeah, it was, and hopefully Carroll is able to take this and go with it.
Yeah,
and his management gets him a big fight after this, if not a title fight or whatever. I mean, because he looked good, he really did. I mean, and take nothing away from Jono Carroll. I mean, we know this may not have been a prime Scott Quigg in there, but listen, it was still Scott Quigg, and Scott Quigg can still get you out of there if he hits you. And Carroll looked really good in this fight, man. He really did.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Scott Quigg, it's, and you can relate to, Beeb, I don't know, have you played sports lately? I mean, now that you're, we're both a little bit older now, and I remember I played soccer. With it was like at a licensing thing. And so we played soccer with these guys, man, and I was like one of the older guys there, obviously, And so, I mean, I'm trying to run with these like 19, 20-year-olds. And I tell you what, man, I mean, they just move like deer. I mean, and even when I was 20, I wasn't fast, as far as running goes or anything like that. I was never like that fast or anything like that. Nothing, no real athleticism. But these guys, I mean, they just ran like deer. I mean, ran right past you with no problems,
My knees are so jacked up, particularly my right one is really jacked up. I'm probably eventually going to have to get a knee replacement at some point. I just picked up the ball the other day and just started just shooting just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it took me a while to like start getting my rhythm down, because like I was front rimming everything, because like you the first thing to go is your legs, right? In anything you do, the first thing to go is your legs. And my legs are my knees are gone, and so it's like my legs are halfway done. I practically have no legs because of my knees, right? Yeah. So I was like front rimming everything, because I was at this gym that had a basketball court, and I said, done all my workout, did my cardio, I did a good workout. I think just go shoot a few hoops, see if the Beeb can still hit the three. And I was like front rimming everything, man. It's like, and I used to like fucking shoot effortlessly, but now like when I shoot, like I can't really jump because I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt my knees. So I'm just like kind of like I'm shooting like Larry Bird. Remember how Larry Bird used to shoot like he didn't even jump off the ground. It was like all arms and shit. But that's how I used to shoot. That's how I shoot now.
That's funny, man. Let's see if the Beeb still got the 3-pointer.
Mr. Boston today said, "Leave the drum shooting at me." I think I seen Mr. Boston today dunk once too. He can fucking dunk. He's like,
oh really?
Yeah, Daryl's like fucking. I think Daryl, you're 6'5", right?
Oh,
I think he can. Daryl can ball a little bit, man. He can fucking play. He can play.
What's crazy? If I was 6'5", I still probably couldn't dunk. That's how athletic I am.
I don't know. Yeah. I will leave the jump shooting to you. Yeah, he said I'm still dunking at 30. Yeah, you're 39. I'm 50, dude.
Yeah, right.
I'm 50. But you know what? To your credit, when you're 50, you could probably still dunk too, man, because he's in good shape.
That's funny, man.
6'5". Yeah, he's 6'5". Oh. He dunk. I seen him dunk. Like, he can fucking dunk. He can dunk off the dribble. He doesn't have to like run and dunk like some people do. He can fucking dunk off the dribble.
Oh wow!
He made a video once. He was dunk. I think it was on Facebook. I think wasn't that video on Facebook when you dunked it? That was fucking sick. Oh yeah. I could never dunk ever.
No.
I'm like way.
I was never like a jumper or anything like that. I could. I was more, like I could always box, because it wasn't like I had to run or jump and box. You know what I mean? Like it's not like anything like crazy physical. I just didn't have that talent. You know what I mean? I don't have that kind of talent. Even with soccer, I could tell you how to, I could tell you where to position you and stuff like that. Yeah. But I mean, as far as doing those moves and stuff like, no way. No way.
What's crazy too is I actually like basketball a lot too. Like I like basketball. I enjoy it and stuff, but I was never great at it. I like certain.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
people. So you know what's funny? Some people like they don't like things they're not good at. Like I'm not good at
Right.
bowling. I'm not good at bowling. I like to bowl. I'm not good at chess. I like to play chess. I'm just a loser. I like to do things I'm not good at. No, but if I like something, I like it. You know, and
Right.
I don't mind. You know.
No, I don't mind losing it. I mean, it's like you said, some of those people are like uber competitive and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
People, like a lot of people, they won't do something they're not good at. Like they
Right.
automatically like fall out of love with something that they're not good at.
That's it.
I used to enjoy playing basketball. You know, I used to love, like, I went to New York one time. This was crazy. I went to New York one time, and like, there's this place in New York. It's called The Cage, and these dudes are incredible street ballers, man. Right?
Really?
And, I stepped on the court, and I was like, I was in slow motion. Like, if you see, like, you watch a movie, like, and you see like someone in slow motion,
Yeah.
and they were like in real time. That's how good these guys were.
Wow.
I would get the ball, and I would like take 2 dribbles, and I'd just be like, choo, choo, because I didn't even want to fucking do anything. I just wanted to, I was just like a fucking like a spectator, man.
Wow.
These fucking, some people are just people in New York can really fucking ball in the city. Oh my god.
Isn't it crazy? You think about, all right, now you think about how good they are, and like they didn't make it to the NBA, and how good those guys are.
Allen Iverson, I think he was from New York. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Kenny Smith. Some of these guys from New York were like, I think Jordan originally, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was originally from New York. I think he moved to North Carolina. I'm not sure. I have to look that up, but some of them did make it, but a lot of them didn't. And it's crazy too, is some of those guys that can ball on the street and they can't really ball in the NBA. But like if an NBA player was to play them 1-on-1, they'd probably lose to them. You know?
Yeah. Or Wood is killing me in the chat. What's he doing here? Eric Master sitting down watching TV. How dare you?
Damn, Wood.
How dare you, sir? Man.
Eating, oh wow! He said eating was your talent. Wood, wow, man.
What's Wood's talent? What is Wood's talent?
I seen Wood on YouTube. Like when you hear Wood talk, like you think he's like a big dude, right?
Yeah.
He's kind of a lean. He's kind of like a thin dude. Like he's like, I'm not gonna say he's like scrawny on him, but he's kind of like smaller than I thought he was.
Panhandling is Wood's talent. How about that?
So Iverson from, MJ from Brooklyn. For some reason I thought Iverson was from New York too. Did Iverson live in New York at all, or because I used to think he used to ball in New York?
Yeah, MJ was from Brooklyn, but he didn't spend a lot of time there.
Yeah,
I think most of his time was spent. I think he moved out of there like early.
For some reason, I thought Iverson was from New York. I don't know why. I know Kenny Smith was.
Was he?
Yeah, Kenny Smith was from New York.
Wow.
I was watching Iverson the other day on YouTube, and they were showing like when he was playing, like when the Sixers played the freaking Bulls, and he scored like 40-something points, and like Jordan scored like 31. Iverson had some crazy game, like little Allen Iverson, 5'11", man. He was like 165. Dude can ball, man. He was fucking good.
Yeah.
He could fucking play.
Mr. Boxing Day. Mr. Boxing Day said he played at North Dakota State. I think it was North Dakota State, I think he said.
Oh, is that what he did?
That's insane.
I didn't know he played college ball.
Yeah, good you have to be to play college ball?
Yeah.
That's anywhere. And I just didn't, anywhere.
Mr. Boxing Today is no joke, bro.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it, man. That's crazy.
He's an athlete. No question about it. He said, "Leave the jumpers to me, Beeb." I like that.
Leave the jumpers to me.
That was a slick one. I like that. I go out and I walk and shit. Like it's so funny. Like I do old people exercise now. I do like old people exercise now, but it's keeping me like healthy, I guess.
There you go. That's all you need.
But yeah, if this year I turn 50 and I can feel that I'm turning the corner, man. I'm gonna have to just make some lifestyle adjustments.
You turning the corner. All right, let's go to the phones here, man. 516 Jesse Reekin, I believe this is. You're live.
Oh, come on, Reek. Come on, Reek.
And again, maybe you're not.
Wake up, Reek.
low.
Let me text him. Tell him to fucking wake up.
All right, we'll come back to him. We'll come back to him.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do. While waiting for Jesse Reekin to get it together. Who said aquatic? Aquatic Zumba. Beeb does water Zumba. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's look at the upcoming fights here. As of always, I'm prepared.
Oh, what's 52, man? Wow. I don't do any water. I wish I did do water stuff. People ask me, do I do water stuff? I hate swimming, man. I don't float well, man. I sink. Maybe I'll try Aqua Zumba though. Is that good? I'll try that.
There you go. There you go. All right, let's see what we got here today, Beeb. March 13th. That's Friday, Beeb. Friday the 13th. From Hinckley, Minnesota on Showtime, Brandon Lee versus Camilo Prieto, 10 rounds, junior welterweights. This has got to be a Showbox card. Wow. Is it me or am I the only one that doesn't like Showbox cards?
They're not very competitive.
No.
No.
They remind me of the old USA cards or ESPN cards.
They should change the name Showbox to Showcase. Because they're showcase fights.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they really should. March 13th, Mexico City on Telemundo. Adrian Curiel versus Hugo Rosendo Guarneros. 10 rounds flyweights. Come on, there's got to be something here. March 14th on ESPN. Shakur Stevenson versus Miguel Mariaga. 12 rounds for Stevenson's WBO featherweight title. There you go. On the undercard, Jesse Magdaleno versus Zakaria Lucas. 10 rounds featherweights. On the undercard, let's see here. That's just about it. Nobody really of note there. Also on March 14th from Oxon Hill, Maryland, James Kirkland versus Marcos Hernandez, 10 rounds middleweights. Yeah, that's not a typo. You heard the James Kirkland. How about he's still fighting, Beeb?
It's amazing. He'll take like 2 years off and he'll just come back out of nowhere, man. It's amazing.
Come on, son.
That was a vicious knockout that he suffered from Canelo. See his fucking head spun around, man?
Yep.
Like, oh my God, that was like horrible.
It's ridiculous, man.
I was worried about him.
March 14th from Orange County, California on ThompsonBoxing.com. Michael Dutchover versus Rafael Reyes, 8 rounds lightweights. Boy, this is a light week here, man. Light week. And then March 17th. I believe this is, I know it's the following week, but it's, let's see here. Yeah, it's following week. We'll get to it when we get to it. Okay. So there you go. Yeah. Not much here. What we got here? That's it. Yeah. James Kirkland. Beeb, why is James Kirkland fighting?
I guess he fought twice. I stand corrected. I guess he fought twice last year. But I remember before he took like, after the Alvarez fight in 2015, he took 4 years off, and then he came back in 2019, and he had 2 soft touches. So, I don't know, man. Why is he still fighting? I would have to say, unfortunately, he probably needs the money. But he's 35 years old.
Yeah, that ain't good, man.
He's 35 and 2. He's been knocked out twice. I actually thought at one point that he was going to be like I thought he was going to be a world champion. I thought he was like crazy. I thought it was crazy that he never became a world champ. I thought it was crazy. I thought he was going to be a fucking a killer in there. I thought he was going to be like a top fighter, but it just never panned out, man.
I liked him with Ann Wolfe. Yeah. I liked him with Ann Wolfe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a shame.
That's crazy.
Shame nothing ever happened of it, you know?
No. 516, you're live. Jesse Reekin.
Jesse, come on, Jesse.
He's still not
Jesse,
ready.
get with it, Jesse.
He's still not ready.
Jesse. Coño.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Coño.
Let's go. Mira, man. Coño, come on, let's go.
Mira, pendejo.
Yo, ¿qué pasa?
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Cómo te va? Let's go.
Brian,
So did you get your money? Did you get your money? Did you get your money? What happened?
Halfway. I said Brian.
Oh,
Brian's
Brian's a halfway crook. He paying you halfway?
Halfway crook.
He paid.
Brian's halfway shook, halfway crooking you.
But I'm pretty sure he's gonna pay the full amount. I trust him. Yo, it's so funny. Yo, Eric, I'm on my job on Friday morning, right? And it's funny because I just came off of a rough night. I was like kind of pissed off the night I had before too. And then Beeb just texted me, "Yo, Brian emailed me. He wants to pay you." I'm like, okay. And I texted Brian, and then we got to talking and stuff. He seems like a genuine guy, but we're halfway there. We're at the halfway mark.
With the halfway point.
I can't give him the full mark.
He's got to pay you in installments.
little installment action.
So are you going to charge him juice or what? Like, you putting points on it?
Was,
He's putting
he
points
paid
on
me
it.
during he paid me during Western Union.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Western Union charges 14. So I said, well, just take that out of the payment.
Doesn't matter.
So I was like,
Jesse's shaving money off of what the dude owes him.
Yeah.
Fucking Jesse, man.
Are you serious? He took 14 off of that?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Come on, Jesse. Jesse, I got one question for you. Do you want me to? Do we need to send some people down to Brian's neck of the woods? Do we need to send someone down there?
I send Robbie down there.
No.
We send Robbie down there.
Do we need to send collectors? Do we need to send collectors down there? Do you want me to send? Do we need to send the equalizer down there?
I'm gonna send Robert down there.
Me the other 70.
Oh, it's called the transporter.
If Brian sends me the other 72, we're good.
72.
I'm not cool with that, man.
72.
Yeah, I told him to take. He said, yeah, because he sent me 100, and he said he had to pay 114. So then I said, okay. So then I did $20 minus.
So he's gonna send him 72 minus the 14.
What the fuck is going on here? Seriously, what is going on here? Something just isn't right, man.
Let's call Brian. Let's call Brian right now. Yo, can I call Brian right now on three-way?
No.
Huh?
What do you? No. What do you?
Yeah, we'll just
have a boxing. We're live here. What are you doing?
We'll just rearrange the show for Brian. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's no problem. We can take care of your personal business on here. No big deal. Why not?
Yeah, we'll just turn this into the collecting agency.
That's what I'm saying. We'll put him on the show three-way.
Look at Beeb's face is priceless.
Jesse, when you're in the middle of a rap battle, right?
Beeb already knows how crazy I am.
And someone
I saw that video. Yeah.
And someone calls you, right? Are you gonna stop the rap battle because you need to talk to somebody? Jesse's nice too, guys. I'm gonna start tweeting Jesse's rap battle. Jesse's nice, man. Jesse's got some skills.
Thank you, bro.
I like Jesse. Well, you don't like that type of music, Eric. That's
I didn't say anything. I didn't say a word.
Don't make faces, Eric.
I didn't make faces. I wasn't making. This is my normal face.
You don't like battle rap, Eric. You don't like battle rap.
You
don't understand
Eric,
the
you
arena.
You think I'm whack?
You don't understand
I don't even know
arena.
what that means. I don't even know what that means.
He doesn't even know what it means.
Don't know what it means.
You're speaking French to him right now, Jesse.
Not my type of music, man.
Jesse,
do I think you're black?
It's not.
Is that what he's saying?
He said whack.
Whack. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean here, whack? Beeb, what does that mean?
I'm not good at the craft that
I think that I'm sure you're good at whatever it is you do. It's just not my kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like when he listens to that, it's almost like he's listening to
Like I'm listening to opera or something.
Like listening to people speak French. He can't understand that. Like even when I kick a couple verses, he can't relate.
No, I can't relate at all.
He can't relate.
No, not when Beeb kicks it. Not when Beeb kicks out his hyped dope beats. I can't. I can't do it, man.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
Yo, I asked Beeb this question. I'm gonna ask you if I can. If you who will be your favorite boxer to interview?
Who would be my favorite boxer to interview?
It doesn't even have to be a boxer. Just somebody
Boxing
in the
personality.
game.
Boxing personality
would be your favorite interview?
Would be a good interview. I'll tell you who I did interview, and he was the best interview I had ever had.
No, it's not about who you did interview.
So who?
It has to be about who you
wish
you
that you never interviewed before. That was
Chavez Senior. I wish I would have interviewed. He would be the guy. He would be the guy.
That would be great.
Yeah, he would be the guy for me.
You know who I would love to interview?
I thought B for me is Ricky Hatton.
Ricky Hatton's another. Yeah, he'd be another good one, I think.
You know who I would love to interview? Tyson Fury. I love Tyson Fury.
Yeah, Tyson would be a great interview. Tyson would be a great interview.
I already interviewed Jesse Reekin before.
What is green grass music?
Oh yeah,
Wood's all over me. Wood's all over. I must have ruffled his feathers here. Wood's all over me in the chat today. He says,
"Can anybody? If you guys did, I'm sorry to cut you off. If anybody did interview Mike Tyson."
No, I think Mike Tyson would be a horrible interview.
Can we ask him? No. I was gonna say, can we ask him? Where the hell did you come up with? I'll fuck you till you love me, faggot.
I think that's jail talk, isn't it?
Can we?
Beeb, isn't that like jail talk though?
It's like jail talk.
Hey, Wood, is that jail talk? Because I think Wood would know.
That
was
the most
Wood seems like he's done time here, so I don't know. That may be,
It's jail talk. It's jail talk, man.
Yo, that was like the most comedy drama.
Fuck you till you love me.
And
crazy. That when I seen him do that shit, I was like, what the fuck
put
is
all
this?
genres into one with that one. Fuck you till you love me, faggot.
Remember when he was talking to Razor Ruddock, he said, I'll make sure you kiss me with them big lips or something like that.
Yeah, I was telling Jesse that.
JC has confirmed it is jail talk, yes. So there you go. Jail sweet talk. That's jail sweet talk for all you people out there.
I'll fuck you till you love me, faggot. That has to go down as one of the greatest lines of all time.
Has to.
Who?
Imagine Wood's a nurse, right? Imagine like his bedside manner. All right, motherfucker, open your mouth. I want to take it. I want to take your temperature.
Open your mouth.
I want to take your temperature. Come here, motherfucker. It's time to take your pills. I'd love to hear him like in action. I used to work at a nursing home, man. I'll be honest with you. My sister's a nurse. That's a fucking hard.
That's a tough job. That's a tough job.
I give credit to anyone who's a nurse.
Wood, I'm messing with you. Wood knows I'm messing with him.
Wood, are you an RN? Are you an RN, Wood? That's a good job, man.
Yeah, nurse is a tough job, man. I tell you what. All right, Jesse, let me get going here, man. We got a few people on the line, man. Thanks for calling. We're gonna try to get your money for you. We'll send some hard guys down there to shake down Brian. I'm gonna send Ringside Robert down there, see what he can do.
That's cool. That's cool. He said he's an LPN.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's a tough job, man. You used to work in a nursing home?
I used to be a dietary manager at a nursing home, yeah.
That's right. When I was 19, I worked in a nursing home. I was an activities guy. Activities is fun. Huh?
Play bingo and shit? You play bingo?
Play bingo, chair soccer, and everything like that.
Yeah. Play volleyball with the balloons?
Volleyball with the balloons, yeah. We had that big ball. Logan Wolf says, Eric listens to death metal. Nah, not death metal. No, not death metal. Not really heavy metal either. I don't know. I like a little bit of everything, man. I like a little bit of everything. But like
except for battle rap.
I don't like the Eminem thing. You know, like Eminem, that movie or whatever, when they're doing that. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. No, definitely not a country. You know, my wife is a country western fan. She likes country music.
Country music?
She's big into country. And I like some of it. I like some of everything, man. But I'm not like a one, like where I just ride with a like country music and that's it. I like all kinds, man. Like all kinds. Uh-oh. Area code 508, straight from Rikers. Georgie, you're live.
Yeah, what's happening, people? Going on up in here, bro? Yo.
You got...
Yo, where's Beeb? I seen that nigga disappear. Where he at? Where Beeb's at?
He just stepped away for a minute. Why, go. What about me? You could talk to me. I'm human, you know.
All right, baby, I can put in work on you every week. Let me put some work on Biggs once in a while, baby. You can be Captain Save a Hole every week.
I'm Captain Save a Hole every week, son.
Flame.
Hey, so you pick up coronavirus yet?
Listen.
You pick up the coronavirus yet?
I'm on the process of being quarantined from the rest of the population, baby. That's all it counts.
From cell block C, then? They're
going to far away from them, Lord. Listen, I'm gonna send you to Washington, to Seattle, so you can start believing. Dude, listen, California, they're about to fucking lock some people down. So you sleeping on that. Let me talk some boxing, bro. Now that I see that baby's back. B, fuck you are, my friend.
Bad Bunny.
What up?
Isn't that the Spanish rapper, Bad Bunny? He's a Spanish rapper. You know, my dad knew about Bad Bunny. He's the one that told me about Bad Bunny. That's why I think it's funny.
Yes, Georgie, go ahead.
Go ahead, Georgie. Time's a wasting. Let's go.
I know, brother. Thank you. Thank you for letting me talk.
You're welcome. Very well.
Listen, Beeb, explain to me how the fuck AJ comeback equals fucking Kownacki comeback. How the fuck this comeback even in the same fucking earth?
I try to explain this to you over and over again. And I try to explain this to everybody.
Especially for this bullshit. Go ahead.
When I say something is similar to something, it doesn't mean it's exactly the same. If me and Eric both have on black shirts, and I say Eric's got a black shirt like me, does that mean that I'm saying Eric, his whole entire wardrobe is the same as mine? No. Does that mean that me and Eric are identical twins? I said they share a similar... Again, he asked me a question and I can't finish it. He asked me a question and I can't answer it. So what I'm trying to tell you is it's similar in the... Again, I can't finish. I can't finish. So what I'm trying to tell you is it's a similar situation because they both lost to 20-1 underdogs, and I think that Kownacki could come back like AJ came back. That's the point I'm trying to make. I don't write guys off because they lose to somebody. When Lennox Lewis lost to Hasim Rahman, he came back and he won. Like why can't Kownacki come back from this? Why is his career over? I don't get it.
Of course anybody can come back. But saying that these motherfuckers gonna come back like AJ did or fucking Holyfield did or Rodman or anybody who won a fucking belt, it's kind of fucking disingenuous. It's not even in the same ballpark.
All it means...
You talk, let me burn.
All it means is he...
You talk, let me burn.
All it means is he can come back and win. He can avenge his loss, like AJ avenged his loss. That's all I'm saying. That doesn't mean that...
That's it. That's the bottom line. It is possible for him to come back and avenge a loss. Yes, it is possible. But from there, that this man can come back like AJ or Holyfield or any of these fucking stars who got millions of following and millions of dollars backing him up.
But that's a straw man argument. Like, that's a straw man argument because no one's talking about.
It's a
straw man argument because no one said Kownacki could make as much money as Holyfield and AJ. Nobody said that. What I said was, it's just he could come back like AJ came back.
I'm saying it again. It's not gonna be the same type of comeback.
Yes, it will be.
Yes,
it will be. Because they both lost to 20-1 underdogs. And
so you're telling me he's gonna headline? If it is the same, you're gonna tell me right now that he's gonna headline?
He'll headline again.
That's what you're saying.
He'll headline again. Yeah, I 100% think he will.
Fuck out of here! That man ain't headlining no fuck. You crazy! I got a power right now that these
Why not?
He's not a headline.
Why not? Why not?
Who's gonna show up, Beeb? Who's gonna show up, Beeb?
David Price.
You gonna show up?
David Price got knocked out. David Price got knocked out by, what was that guy's name? The fucking guy that knocked him out?
You don't think Kownacki can come back from this?
He's British. British people will show up for anything.
Tony Thompson knocked out David Price, right? David Price came back and headlined the show in the rematch.
Why?
This could be even a bigger. If they rematched, it could be even a bigger fight than it was the first time. Because now they're going to try to.
This is what we should be talking about. This is what
if they rematch, the fight would be bigger now. Because now people would look at it more of as a more competitive fight. Then it would be more intriguing. Right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, listen. PBC be taking L. They be taking mad L. One of the reasons the Barky was successful is because Kownacki, this man, had a huge following down in New York. They put this motherfucker, I think, on twice of the wild card. Just to prop up this shit. Just to put some people. Then I finish. Then nigga finish. Then nigga burn. Thank you. So, like I say, we seen these people taking L. They be taking L. They ain't got nobody to show up in the heavyweight division. PBC going down the drain and quick. Every time we see real competition, these motherfuckers get exposed. But we don't talk about that. That we don't even pop up on the mind. We're gonna keep saying that the bullshit, that the fraudulent shit that they keep putting out there is real competition.
Who got exposed?
What happened? Real competition step up.
Who got exposed?
Who do you think?
You tell me. Who got exposed?
Kownacki dude.
Kownacki got exposed. Kownacki got exposed.
Yeah.
Kownacki didn't get exposed.
Yeah.
He's from the Mayweather. He's from the Mayweather.
So he lost, so he got exposed.
He's from the Mayweather era. That when you lose, you're done.
Right.
That's the Mayweather. That's the Mayweather construct.
No, he's not that he's done. But it's a huge blow. It's a huge blow, and you guys try to minimize this shit.
Because it's not a big blow. Because he wasn't. Was Kownacki? Kownacki wasn't. He wasn't even a top 5 guy, was he? Was Kownacki a top 5 guy?
Kownacki could come back and beat Helenius in a rematch, and he can rebuild. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal.
Listen, they were pushing this man, ranking him number 10. To put him out there to fucking take a title shot. Was this shit eliminator, yes or no? PBC got a lot of fucking money in this shit in West Tower.
Was it a setback? Was it a setback? Yes. Is it the end of his career? No.
The only thing that really means something here is that PBC took a L. And it's a really bad L. It's a really bad L.
It's not that big of a deal.
And all you motherfuckers want to do what? Minimize the situation.
It's not that big of a deal.
It's
really not that big of a deal that he lost. No. I mean, he lost a fight. So what? He can come back and win. Who cares? Guy's got a big following. Guy's got a big following. He's got a lot of Polish fans, dude. He's got a lot of Polish fans behind him. Polish people love boxing.
Every time you take a L,
that's Mayweather talk. That's Mayweather talk, bro. That's Mayweather. That's Mayweather. That's Mayweather talk, bro. That's Mayweather. That's the Mayweather. Those are the Mayweather talking points. Mayweather talking points. New age boxing fans. Mayweather talking points.
Everybody knows that.
No, only you new age boxing fans that came along during the Mayweather era talk like that. Usually the only guys that talk like that, not real boxing fans.
Kownacki's still like up and coming, man.
Guess what, Beeb?
All you're doing is repeating Mayweather's catchphrases, bro. You're repeating Mayweather's catchphrases. You sound like a parrot.
Let me
You sound like a parrot. You sound like a parrot. Go ahead, finish, parrot.
What you call the casual boxing fan is 80% of the fucking sport. Let me repeat this shit.
Georgie, you're...
the casual fan is 80% of the fucking sport. Get that.
Georgie.
Does he know we can't?
I can't understand a word he's saying.
Does he know when he screams like that we can't understand him? You know when you scream like that, you know when you sound like?
We can't understand you when you scream like that.
This is what you sound like when you scream like that. What language is that, bro? What language is that? You're speaking bibbidi boopah.
Do not talk over me. Do not talk over me. I don't have to scream. Simple as that.
Listen, we can't understand you here. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute. I'm going to put you on hold for a minute, okay? Listen, Georgie, listen, I cannot understand you. You're just like screaming, and I can't understand a word you're saying. We can't understand questions. I don't understand anything you're saying to me or B. We can't. And we can't talk over each other because then nobody hears it. It's just, it sounds garbled. It doesn't sound good.
All right, go ahead. Let him.
So let's bring him back on.
Go ahead with your Mayweather. Go ahead and talk your Mayweather talk now. Go ahead, Mayweather. Mayweather talking points.
It's not Mayweather talk. It's a fact. Here you go interrupting again. Silence, please. It's the fact of fucking boxing. 80% of what you call casual fans is the wrong of boxing. Motherfucker who watching in there. The same motherfucker who watch Kownacki for...
What happened?
I don't know.
That's all I gotta say. It is what it is, man. You guys can deny all you want. I gotta go. See you guys later. Everybody support the channel. Thumbs up, donate. Shout out to the UK, the world. I'm out.
All right. Thank you for those Mayweather talking points.
All right, Georgie.
Good job with the Mayweather talking points.
I thought the best part is when he comes back on, he goes into it, it cuts off, and then he comes back on. That's all I gotta say. He was like, okay.
Good job. I love these Mayweather talking points. Someone loses and their career's over.
Right. That's it. I mean, and Kownacki, I mean, honestly, it really wasn't that big of a loss for. I really don't believe that.
He won every single round, and then he just got caught with a shot and he lost.
Yeah. I mean,
like, come on, man.
Yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal.
And the guy's young, too. He's still in his 20s. Like, what's he going to do? Fold up his tent and go home now? Cut the shit. Come on. Stop.
Yeah, I mean, and we talked about this earlier in the show, how people are losing and everything like that. I get it, but they're losing to they're competitive fights. They're not. Helenius is not a cupcake.
Helenius fought for world titles before.
Yeah.
He's not
Lehman Brewster, Sergey Lehovich. I mean, he's fought big top guys, man. So I mean, hey, listen. A lot of heavyweights would like to have his resume, put it that way. So it wasn't a bad loss last night, and there's no shame in losing to that guy. And I understand he was favored and everything like that, but it's not like Kownacki blew a title shot by losing to that guy.
And it's like heavyweight boxing. Anybody can get fucking knocked out in heavyweight boxing, bro.
Yeah. Everybody's chinny in heavyweights. You know, I mean, it is.
Like anyone can get knocked out. Anyone can get caught, bro. Was it a fight that he was supposed to win on paper? Absolutely. Yeah. But does that mean that he can't come back and beat Helenius in a rematch? No. He'll probably rematch him. He'll probably rematch him and knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, are you going to rematch him? I don't know.
We'll see.
I
think he should.
I'd like to see it. It was a good
fight.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
So I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Like every time someone loses, they're a bum, they're done, they were trash, they were overrated, their career's over.
Can you imagine if Terrence Crawford lost? How much of a bum he would be? But let's just say Terrence Crawford lost to Errol Spence. How much of a bum Terrence Crawford would be? You know what I mean?
Imagine
it doesn't make sense.
Imagine you going to work one day and you have an off day at work and things just don't go right for you. Does that mean like, oh, you should get fired because you had a bad day?
Right.
Does that mean you're done? I mean, everyone has a bad day at the office. Jesus Christ. Why can't these guys have a bad day at the office?
It's insane.
Fucking ridiculous.
All right. 972, Dallas, Texas. You're live.
And I'm not even like
972, you're live.
You need to tell people I got
Hello?
people want them.
All right, maybe we'll come back to you
I
here.
want $15.
Sound like a pretty interesting conversation. I should have stayed on.
Jesus Christ. People are friggin' they're at the drive-thru when they're calling into the show.
Remember Corey, you were like, put me back on. He was at like Taco Bell or something like that. He's like, put me back on after I order.
Who said that?
Wasn't that Corey? Or he was at a
Corey,
drive-thru?
Corey, yeah. He's at Taco Bell or some shit. Yeah,
he was at Taco Bell. I'm, like, I'm getting ready to work.
Crazy.
All right, so let's talk about the news and rumors. Let's start off with the train wreck of the week. My train wreck of the week here. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor has been signed. And you must be asking yourself, why in the world is that the train wreck of the week, man? Let me tell you why.
Why, Eric?
This right here is a perfect example of why women's boxing is not and never will be on the map. Perfect example. This was the perfect opportunity for these two to headline. We got two unbeaten champions here, Beeb. Serrano is a 7-division champion. All right. Taylor is the undisputed lightweight champion. Where else is this an undercard fight? Where?
No, this would have been a nice look for women's boxing to put this on the top of the bill.
Main event. You want to build Katie Taylor up? You want to build Serrano up? Put them on a main event. You know, and it's on the undercard of Dillian White and Alexander Povetkin. Really? That's your main event? That's the main event. This was a huge chance to put women's boxing on the map, and they blew it big time. And you know what? Women never going to get a fair shake in the sport. That's why they're all going to MMA. You know?
You know, it's crazy. I'm surprised like Katie Taylor didn't say something about this when she's not being the main event. Man, that's crazy.
It's insane. It is insane.
That's not right.
To White and Povetkin, it would not have hurt. It would not have hurt. All right, it would not have hurt to put those two. Joe Ramos says he got to disagree. Does this fight sell 6,000 tickets by itself? No, maybe not. I don't know. But with Dillian White on the card and Alexander Povetkin on the card, you're saying that sells 6,000. Okay, so if it does, put them as the co-main and put Katie Taylor as the main. You can even promote it the other way. You can, but make those guys the main event.
I think Katie Taylor does good numbers in the UK, right?
I would think so.
It's gonna be in the UK, right? So
yeah,
she does good numbers in the UK.
Why not? And why not put those guys on the undercard?
You gotta understand, this is UK boxing. Like Katie Taylor's popular in the UK.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Does this sell 6,000 tickets? Hell yeah.
White is a big Povetkin. Joe Ramos says White Povetkin is a big card with high exposure. It is in the UK. I get it. They can't headline. It'll be a walkout. They can't. He said, "Don't be silly. They can't headline. Why can't they headline?
Do you follow?
Do you follow boxing? Yeah, at all. I mean, why can't they headline?
Do you follow UK boxing? Like,
right?
Katie Taylor is a big attraction in the UK, bro.
Yeah. Why can't they headline?
Katie Taylor's a big attraction. She's not like some friggin' nobody.
Right.
I don't understand. I think you're selling Katie Taylor short, man.
For sure. And what about Amanda Serrano, a 7-division champion? For real, a 7-division champion, and she can't headline?
To White's,
come on, man.
To White's credit, though, he does do good pay-per-view numbers in the UK.
He does, and that's why he's on the card. Make it a co-main. Make it you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Make it, really pump it up. And Kung Fu Jutsu just hit it on the head, and that's exactly what I'm going to point out here now. He says, look at the fight, the UFC fight last night. Jun Jacek and Wiley Zhang or whatever, or Zhang Wiley, I think it is, put on one of the best fights that you'll ever see. And it was a co-main, but hyped like a main.
And here's the thing, Eric. White can get you the pay-per-views, but Katie Taylor can get you the butts in the seats.
Right. There you go.
What's wrong with that? Go. What's wrong with that?
And I tell you what, and again, man, the women's fights over at the UFC, and listen, they had Invicta. Invicta was like an all-women's MMA thing, MMA promotion. Women's fights get way more attention over there because they've been promoted properly. Now people want to see these fights. And boxing, they're just a sideshow. And it's, listen, man, this is why there's no women boxers. This is why and as soon as they start to get popular, they shoot over where? Heather Hardy's over there trying to, fight in MMA to make ends meet. Serranos are doing the same thing. They're doing MMA as well. So that's my thing, man. This is why they run to MMA, because there's no place for them here. And which doesn't make sense to me. If they promoted this properly, and not to mention, if they did promote this properly, this could really build the sport. It could build the base. It could build the casuals. It could build everything, That's why I can't stand that move like Clarissa Shields does. And she calls herself the GWOAT, the greatest woman of all time. Why? How many women? I mean, let's face it, that pool is not very big. That women's pool in boxing is not very big right now. You want to call yourself the greatest of all time. Who cares? I mean, everybody does it now anyway. Who cares? Call yourself the greatest of all time. But calling yourself the greatest woman of all time, does anybody really care about that title? No. Get yourself a new,
The thing is
come on.
She's just, to me, she just believes in herself and whatever. So I don't know, she gets a lot of slack for saying that, though. It turns a lot of people off.
It turns me off just because it's a stupid saying. Because if you're going to say you're the greatest of all time, say you're the greatest of all time. But you're saying you're the greatest woman of all time.
Yeah.
All right, well, look how big that pool is. Call yourself the greatest of all time, man.
I see what you're saying.
I don't know where your marketing here is. I mean, as far as, who's marketing her, man, but get a new one, man. That's silly. Call yourself the greatest, man. Don't be silly, man.
Yeah.
But like I tell you, man, and Shields is a big fish in a small pond. Yeah, you're right.
And that's why MMA, female fighting in MMA is so good, because you have a lot of competitive fights. You have a lot of fighters. A lot of top fighters, you know what I mean?
Well, and Lobelo Champ said the boxing market is tough for men, so it's only natural that the women's side will struggle bad. Well, so is MMA. MMA is complete dominated by men for years. But it takes a good promotion to get them over. And they did. They got them over. I mean, everybody saw that fight last night, and it was a big, hyped-up fight. Everybody was expecting a good fight last night. They got a good fight last night.
Well, I'd love to see Amanda Nunes. She headlines sometimes. She's doing good.
She headlines all the time.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon for her to be on pay-per-view.
Ronda Rousey used to headline. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and you got the talent. I mean, Clarissa Shields can headline. Clarissa Shields can headline pay-per-views. Clarissa Shields, start putting them on pay-per-views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And good fights too. I mean, put those good fights on there. But to put this fight, which is a really good fight. I mean, a 7 weight class, 7 division champion versus the undisputed lightweight champion. Where else is this a co-main anywhere?
I hear you.
Doesn't make sense, man.
Yeah.
Horrible. And put them under the same rules already. You say that you want this, the girls want to, make the same money, put them under the same rules. And I don't think any of them would have a problem with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Any of them. 3 minutes. Kung Fu Jitsu says female MMA blows female boxing right out of the water. Sad but true. It is true.
It's true.
But again, is it true because they have better talent? No. I don't believe they do. I believe these guys are talented in their sport.
What the thing is they have more talent. In other words, in each division in boxing, you'll have one good fighter, and the rest of the division's not that strong. In MMA, you have multiple women in each division that are good.
But let me ask you though. If it was promoted and they started making money, because that's what they're doing over there. It's promoted well. They're making money, and now the women are getting they're getting paid more.
I don't think anyone does a better job than UFC when it comes to promoting fighters.
No,
they do a good job over there.
They do a great job.
Dana White does a good job too. He knows what he's doing. That's
the thing. I mean, so I just think that they you get this fight on there and you treat it like that. It's like, come on, man. That's crazy.
Then when you watch a UFC show, it's so smooth. There's no long gaps in between fights. It's just boom, 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 boom. It's great.
Yeah. And you know who does that? You know who took as PBC does that in their fights.
Yeah.
Not in their pay-per-views necessarily, but in their fights,
yeah.
it's one right after the other.
Yeah.
I always said this, I've said this from the beginning, man. If you have a chance to go see the PBC, it comes to your town or close, go see it, because they always put on a really good show.
They do.
The fights start at 5:30. You ain't getting out of there till 12:30. It's fight after fight after fight. There is no real delay there, you know. The only delay is around 8:30 when they get ready for post time at 9. You know, that's it.
Yep. Yep.
And piggybacking off of this, White and Povetkin, Dillian White versus Alexander Povetkin, set for May 2nd. It's a good fight. You know, I guess it's Dillian White it's a good fight. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. Can't believe that's a pay-per-view in UK. Jesus.
Dillian White does numbers, man. He does numbers over there. Surprisingly enough, he does good numbers over there.
Not really a pay-per-view caliber fight for me, but I don't know.
Well, again, like the UK fans, because you have to look at it. They're paying $25 a pay-per-view, so it's not like they're paying $80 to see this. So
right.
They'll do it.
It's true. All right, let's talk about this, Beeb, because this I know this kind of got under your skin earlier in the week. You were tweeting about it and stuff like that. So Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders had been announced by Mike Coppinger, but he said the way he said it was they came to terms, should be announced next week, but according to his sources. You know, so the fight is still not done. We don't know who Canelo's fighting, but I've heard 3 different names kicked around. I heard Ryota Murata, which I think he's out of the running now. And I've heard Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders.
Callum Smith's out of the running too.
Yeah, so then Billy Joe Saunders, the natural guy to fight here. So tell me about the social media thing earlier. Tell me about your comments and everything like that.
Well, they were interviewing Billy Joe Saunders. They were interviewing Ben Davidson, who trains him, and these guys are being asked, so the fight's done, and they're saying, oh no, it's not done yet. Nothing's been finalized. We have no contract, nothing like that. So it's like, the problem with these media guys is they hear something and they take whatever they hear out of context, and someone could say something to them, but it doesn't matter who that person is. Like, it could be anyone in the camp. Like, it could be the guy that holds the bucket during sparring. It could be anybody. They'll say, well, this guy could fight this guy or whatever. We may do this, we may do that. We're thinking about doing this. Well, we've been, and then all of a sudden they'll just take that and run with it like it's confirmed, and it's not confirmed. So someone may have said something to him, Coppinger, okay? A source can be anybody. Like, sometimes
anybody.
The people that used to bash the PBC for events being papered and stuff like that, meaning that all the tickets were given away. There's no way that anyone could ever know that unless they were involved in the show, and unless they had a financial interest in the show and they were actually the promoter or whatever. The promoter is the only person who would really know, and the venue itself would know how many tickets were given away. So someone could sit there and be at the event and say to somebody else, hey, I don't think anyone paid for this. I bet you they gave all these tickets away. Someone will take that and say, "Oh yeah, I heard that these tickets were all given away." No, this person says, "I bet you that these tickets are given away," meaning they think. So if someone thinks, or someone says this could happen, this may happen, someone will take that and they'll just run with it. Say, let me use an example. Say you and I, we work in a similar field, right? And you ask somebody at my job, how much do you think Beeb makes? oh, he probably only makes like 60 grand a year.
Right.
But the only person that would know how much I make is the guy that actually does the payroll, my boss. You know, he submits the payroll. He hired me. He knows how much I make, right? He's the only person that knows how much I make, right? So you could ask someone that works with me. They think they may know what I make. They could guess what I make, but they don't know what I make. And they tell you that. And then that person, you know, you can hear that from that person. That's a source, right? But is that a good source?
Right.
Right? So instead of going to the person, like none of these guys ever go to Bob Arum and ask him the questions that I ask him. Because they know that they're not going to get the answers they want. Because Bob Arum is never going to ever, if you ever go to Bob Arum and you ask, how much did this guy make? How much? He will never tell you. So they go to guys that they know they can get answers from, but they're not really concrete answers. They're just educated guesses. So it is what it is. Like these guys, Coppinger, I can guarantee you right now, the sources that he has aren't really good sources because a lot of times they're wrong and he's wrong. Okay?
He's wrong quite a bit. Yeah.
So anyone can just do anything. Like that example I used. You could ask anyone anything and they can give you an answer. And you could say, well, so-and-so said this, but that doesn't mean that it's 100% accurate. It doesn't mean that it's conclusive if someone says something. So a source can be anything, you know? That's why when I try to find something out, I like to call Bob and just ask him, you know, what's going on here, you know? And I know certain things that if I ask him, he's not going to answer me. So I try to get as much as I can. But
right. And I mean, knowing how much a fighter makes, contracts, everything like that. Bottom line is, unless you're in the room or you talk to the guy who signed the contract, you don't know. You don't know.
And then people sitting there talking about the Wilder Fury pay-per-view, and they know nothing of how boxing works.
No.
Bob Arum has been promoting fights for like almost 50 years, close to 50 years, 48 to 50 years. So do you think he's going to guarantee Fury a purse without having the money to pay him first? The break-even point was 1.1 million pay-per-views. Right. And if they don't get that, then they're going to lose money. No. Who's going to lose money?
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Who's going to lose money? Because, again, the network pays the promoter. The casino pays the promoter. The sponsors pay the promoter. The promoter sells the television rights to other countries. Okay? And then there's the UK money. So there's all these revenue streams coming in. Okay? Bob Arum takes all the money that is given to him, and then he decides out of that money, he gets the money first because ESPN is broadcasting the fight. So they gotta pay Bob Arum the rights to broadcast the fight. So they gotta give him money. So he collects all the money first, and then he decides how much he can guarantee Tyson Fury based off of all of that money that he gets from the various sources. He's not going to say, I'm going to pay you this, and then cross his fingers and hopes that it's going to equal the amount that he get. You think he's been doing it too long? It's like that's not how it works. Now, Bob Arum does have his own promotional company, and he has used it before to promote Terrence Crawford. Okay, he did do a Terrence Crawford pay-per-view with his own pay-per-view company. That's his money. That's how he could lose. But if ESPN is broadcasting the fight and MGM Grand is hosting the fight, and you got all these people sponsoring and all this money coming in from various sources, Bob Arum doesn't have to break even because he's not spending his own money. Like Top Rank and breaking even, ESPN would have to break even. But again, ESPN is owned by ABC. ABC's a multi-billion-dollar company. Like, you really worried about them fucking folding over a fucking one event not doing well?
Right.
So it's like people just don't get it. They need to sell 1.1 billion. Do you realize that in the UK, this fight was supposedly did big numbers. In other countries, this fight did big numbers. I mean, this fight's probably, the pay-per-view is probably going to gross well over $100 million. How is that a failure? I just don't understand it. But everyone was running with, the pay-per-view numbers are only 8. Like, and this was only like fucking 4 days after the fight. People were coming out and saying, oh, it only did this, it only did this, it only did that. You know what the problem is? They're competing with each other. We get paid by the hour. These people get paid by the click. Okay?
That's right.
And they want to be first. It doesn't matter if you're right. Even if they're wrong and they put a story out and everyone clicks on it and reads it, and then they start saying, oh, I heard this from so-and-so, and then all those people, there's a snowball effect. All those people that are being told that they heard it from so-and-so, then they go and click on it. Before the truth comes out, these guys are already getting all these clicks. They're already getting all this money, the ad revenue and all this attention and shit. So they're not held accountable for it. And the fucking idiots continue to believe the same shit from the same people who are wrong all the time. Coppinger is wrong all the fucking time. All the time. And people still cite him as a source.
Mm-hmm. He is. I mean, he's wrong a lot, and Dan Raphael called him out on Twitter for it. It's just one of those things. There's such a race to be first, and I'd rather be right than be first.
And and no one holds him accountable for being wrong.
No.
So he's going to keep doing it. Like, even Dougie Fisher came on here. He's like, yeah, he likes to jump the gun. But you still post his fucking stories.
Well, you don't. Well, that's another thing we don't really know because as we know, he no longer works for Ring. We don't know if he was on his way out. We don't know much about that. But I mean, yeah, I hear it, man.
But when we interviewed Dougie Fisher, he was still writing for the Ring, and Dougie was still posting his stories at that time, and he even admitted he jumps the gun. But Dougie's not, and no, this is no disrespect to Dougie.
No.
This is no disrespect to Dougie. I love Dougie. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
But Dougie would post the stories because he knew they would get clicks. That's why.
Yeah.
Dougie's not an idiot. Like he probably says, Coppinger's. I'll post it because I know Coppinger's articles generally. Because I used to be an editor before, and certain guys would their articles would get a lot of clicks. They were good writers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so Dougie knows that this is beneficial. This is beneficial for the site. It's going to get the site clicks, and in turn, it's going to help us with ad revenue. So I'll post his articles, and we'll apologize for it later. Let's make the money now. We'll make the money now off the clicks, and we'll apologize for it later. But you guys out there, I mean, oh, I heard this, I heard that, and you pass it off as fact. Why? Because Coppinger said it. All right. Sources say that Canelo's fighting friggin' Deontay Wilder next.
Right. Sources.
Can I write an article? Can I write an article off that, and you guys are gonna believe me?
It's always prefaced with sources, and then followed by whatever clickbait title he's got.
So I'm not saying that Canelo's not going to fight Billy Joe Saunders, but it hasn't been announced officially yet.
No.
Okay, the deal's not done.
JC says, and this is a question. This one got some run this week as well. Did you guys hear that people trying to say that Wilder got suspended because of his gloves? Jason actually pointed this out. I think Tommy Boxeo brought the tweet to my attention or whatever. And it came from somebody. I don't know. Apparently it was a parody account or whatever. But I was surprised at how much traction it got. Because I asked for sources because I don't know who I can't keep up with every parody account out there. But Wilder is suspended. If you look on BoxRec, he's suspended, but he got knocked out. And even
everyone gets suspended after they get knocked out.
Yeah, and a lot of times, even if you sustained a cut or anything like that, you'll be suspended for a certain length of time.
It's a 90-day suspension.
Yeah. So
after you get knocked out for injuries.
Yeah.
And knockouts. Correct, JC. That's 100% spot on.
John Doe says Canelo Wilder confirmed. Thanks, Beeb. There you go.
and let me ask you this, Eric. Did you ever think that there would come a time when Twitter would be a reliable source now?
Yeah.
Anyone
know,
can
right?
say, like, people take screenshots of shit said on Twitter, and they're like, see, so and so said this, so and so said that,
Right.
and then the whole argument we got about Kovalev, how no one released the Lance Pugmire.
Well, let's talk about this because we got Jason on the line here, 706. We're going to bring him on.
Lance Pugmire brought up that Kovalev story back in 2018.
Let him talk. Shut up.
He broke that story back in 2018. That was a year. That was like fucking 2 years ago.
Right.
Like Lance Pugmire already broke that story like a year and a half ago. So like, I don't understand why you like about Kovalev with the fucking assault. It was in the LA Times.
Yeah, what were you talking about earlier this week, saying that no white media
like,
or no
media? Maybe Mannix did. Maybe Mannix did sit on the story. No, you can speak. You will speak when I'm done. You will speak when I am done.
Listen, Jason, I got you muted here. Hold on.
You will speak when I am done.
Right.
Now, Chris Mannix may have sat on that story, but that's Chris Mannix. Who the fuck cares about what Chris Mannix does? We never give Chris Mannix any love on this show, and Eric and I both have called Chris Mannix an idiot several times on this show. So I don't give a fuck what Chris Mannix does. Now go ahead, speak.
Go ahead.
Pugmire is no better than Mannix. Have you heard of the kind of disgusting things he said about Clarissa Shields? So you should probably do a little bit more research about Pugmire. Also,
that's a straw man argument, though. But that's a straw man. That's a straw man. We're talking about Kovalev. I don't give a fuck if he fucking. I don't care if he fucking pisses on the fucking street in front of kids. That's his business. That's his business.
Like a maniac. You need to make your medication, man. Come on, relax. You gotta let people speak, then you can respond.
Well, what about your medication? I mean, you're on meth. You're on fucking meth.
Is he on meth?
He's on meth. He takes meth. He's a meth head. Go ahead.
Is he really?
You guys are bashing Coppinger. How can you bash Coppinger and slobber all over Dougie? Like, Dougie is one of the biggest liars in boxing.
I just criticized Dougie. I just criticized Dougie for publishing Coppinger's articles. Did you hear me?
All this. Dougie's not honest.
Dougie's very
None of them are.
Dougie's
None of them are. None of them are. Because they all want to get the story out quickly.
Let me finish, dude.
They all suck.
Calm down, Snowflake. Calm down. Let me finish. Calm down. Let me finish. You can respond. It's your show. You can take like 30 minutes. Let me finish. That guy and Kim have been saying for like since 2016, oh my God, we're hearing PBC is running out of funds. Oh my God, PBC is broke. Al Heyman is selling his company. Oh my God, it's imminent sale. All this shit was all fucking made up. For years, Kim and Dougie have been saying PBC events are papered and Top Rank doesn't paper their events. When we looked at the Fury versus Wallen commission report from the Law Association Commission, those morons sold 2,000 tickets and gave away 4,000 free tickets. Bob Arum will go on fucking interviews and say, I don't paper tickets. That's PBC. We don't paper tickets. That's where all that shit comes from because he feeds that info to Kim.
I just said that, didn't I,
Eric? And they write it in all the papers.
Didn't I just say everything
he's
saying?
No, you didn't say that. You said something else.
No, I was talking about papered events. I was talking about that earlier. I was talking about that earlier that people lie about fucking the papered events.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that. But that's where all this info is coming from. That guy, what's his name? KO Tickets, Jim Boone. He tells Kim that, oh my God, yeah, exactly. That guy's one of the biggest liars. He told people that Fury versus Wallen was a really big hot seller selling out. And then when the commission report comes out that fight sells 2,000 tickets, he's like, oh, I was wrong in taking the temperature of that event. I'm like, what? Why would you fucking spell these? And also, you were saying something about UFC promoting great events. They do great promotion. Last night, if you go watch the Dana White post-fight conference, he starts the conference with telling how many tickets were sold and what was the gate. Last night's event sold 15,000 tickets for a 2.7 million gate. Tank just sold 15,000 tickets in Atlanta and did a 2.5 million gate with Gamboa. So PBC and UFC are almost like on the same level playing field. If a guy like Tank can sell 2.5 million gate in Atlanta, and the fucking superstars like Stylebender and fucking all those people on the card, like what's the Chinese name, Wei Li and Joanna, those are fucking big stars in America. Tank sold that shit out in Atlanta by himself. So PBC is doing a lot of good things. People are like, oh my God, PBC is going down because Wilder lost and Kownacki lost. I think that's just good for us boxing fans because we're getting all these exciting fights.
Well, I think if I could say something in Jason's defense here, I think he's right in the sense that I hear a lot of people said that last night about PBC's going down and this and that. What are you talking about?
They're not going anywhere.
Like I said, I thought these were good fights, and I thought, like I said, man, Kownacki lost. I I thought it was going to be a very competitive fight. First of all,
he looked fat, dude. Kownacki looked fat. He had that dad body, you know. He looked extra fat. He just had a baby, and he's been getting his biggest paydays the last 3 fights. He's main evented at Barclays, so he's been getting the biggest paydays of his life. He obviously got comfortable.
Can I ask you a question?
He was slow as shit. He used to come out like a machine. Yeah,
can I ask you a question? Like, why is it hard for anyone to believe that he won't come back and just fucking knock he can come back or knock Helenius out in a rematch? Like, why is everyone saying like, oh, he's exposed, it's over for him? It's just one fucking loss. I don't understand. Like,
it wasn't like he was a top 5 guy. You know what I mean? He didn't lose a title shot on this fight.
Now, you don't agree with that. Do you agree with that his career's over?
If you have a fight like that, they don't fucking bash their fighters and say they're finished. They just bring them right back 2 months later and put them in another main event. That's why I love
exactly.
They will bring a guy like fucking Kownacki back in 3 months and put him again. Yeah. That's what PBC should do. Put him in another main event. I mean, J-Rock fucking got knocked out by Charlo. They gave him like 2 undercard fights on PBC. They brought him right back on Fox and gave him another main event. His fight did like 1.5 million viewers. So
exactly.
Right.
I mean, I didn't think Kownacki versus Helenius was a good fight when they announced it, but I was wrong too. Like most of us are.
I thought it was a good fight when I thought it was a good fight.
Yeah, I didn't think that. I thought it would be shitty.
I thought it would be one-sided. I'm not
look at how much fucking hate. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say,
I hate Tank versus Gamboa. God, that was a competitive fight.
Yeah, it was.
That fight won. Yeah, you know. What I just saw an article on Boxing Scene just posted like 2 minutes ago. J-Rock is not taking his rematch. He declined the rematch.
I heard that yesterday. I heard that.
Why?
I heard that yesterday. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure why. But yeah, he's not going to take that rematch.
Why?
Steve Kim just reported it. Steve Kim just reported on Boxing Scene.
He must want to take a break. Then.
Jake Donovan did. But dude, remember J-Rock was talking so much shit about Hurt for not taking the immediate rematch. Him and his coach Breadman, they were like, "Oh, you're the fucking boogeyman. How are you not going to take the rematch?" Now both of those guys are going silent.
Can I say something, Jason? Can I say something real quick? He may be injured.
Could be.
Something may have happened to him in that fight, and he needs to take some time off. You never know.
I just think, man, Rosario looked huge compared to him that night on fight night.
Rosario could have hurt him.
Another weight class above him. He was huge.
Yeah,
he definitely hurt him. he hurt him way worse than Kownacki got hurt last night, I thought.
Well, sometimes a guy just has your number.
Yeah.
You know?
Joe Ramos in the chat says, I didn't expect much from that card, and I'm assuming he's met the PBC card last night. He said it was very entertaining.
Yeah, but a lot of times
I thought it was entertaining from top to bottom.
A lot of times.
Dude, Frank Sanchez looked really good. Did you like Frank Sanchez, Eric?
I did. I wish.
Even heavyweight, he looked really sharp.
He did. He looked very good, and
he doesn't have power, but he's sharp.
But he needs to sit down. I thought he needs to sit down on his punches more. But as soon as I saw Sanchez, I immediately thought of Alexander Usyk, and I thought that would be a good fight. I mean, but Sanchez still got a little bit. But he's had 200-some amateur fights.
To me, Sanchez looked. Yes, the 200 wins, like 6 losses. He looked better than Ajagba to me. Ajagba was stiff as shit to me. Ajagba was like a robot. Frank Sanchez, like he's got that Cuban background, but he's going to have that problem of sitting down on punches.
Frank Sanchez definitely a better fighter than Ajagba.
Yeah, he is. He's sharp. He's so much like he's schooled, you know. And did you see who his coach was? It was Ryan Garcia's dad. It was his coach last night. That was kind of weird.
Yeah,
he's been training with Reynoso in Canelo's camp.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Main coach, I guess Reynoso didn't make it.
Yeah, it could be.
That's kind of. But he looked good, man. Ajagba and Joey Spencer hyped up. Those are the 2 next PBC hyped ups that are going to get fucked up.
Joey Spencer. Yeah, Joey Spencer didn't look great on his last. Horrible. Yeah, I don't think he looked great, man, in his last fight.
That Vito Mielnicki kid, you need to keep an eye on him. Vito Mielnicki, that guy's going to be
17. That kid is 17 years old.
Yeah.
That's insane.
He was sitting in the front row, dude. He should have been on that card last night. I don't know why.
Yeah.
He lives in New Jersey. He should have been on the card last night. Dude, what you guys think of Wei Lee and fucking Joanna, though, man?
That was insane.
That was some heavy shit.
That was insane. Right? Both of them looked jacked up after that fight.
Yeah,
man.
Hours, dude.
Yeah, that main event.
Stylebender fucking.
That was horrible. Oh my god, that fight. That fight was terrible.
Dude, the best thing about that main event was the Flower Girls. The Flower Girls were the best thing about that. That's just horrible. The Flower Girls told the show. That's it. Stylebender stock went down, I think.
I think well.
Did you watch those
I don't know.
videos for? Go ahead.
I don't know if Stylebender stock went down.
42.
Yeah, Yoel didn't want to fight either.
Maybe not an Australian.
Yeah, Yoel Romero didn't want to fight either. So he could have pushed the fight and he didn't. So, yeah. And everybody expected him to because he's a wrestler.
He's a big star in UFC, man. Yep. UFC fans love Yoel. Like he's kind of like he reminds me of Luis Ortiz. Like Luis Ortiz has a big fan base in him.
Yeah.
Like, people like it's kind of like that. They're both like 40 plus.
Jason, you have a good fan base too.
Out. Jason has a good fan base. That's right.
You have a good fan base.
I know, man.
All right, Jason, we're gonna get going, man.
Shout out to real Al Heyman. I got him suspended. Tell him not to cry too much, okay?
He's always getting suspended on Twitter, man.
Jason's got a new Twitter account like every.
He does. He gets a new one like every couple of weeks.
How does he keep doing it? Like, how does he do it? Like, how many email addresses does he have to make up?
He's got to make up a ton. He's Frank Sanchez. He's John Smith. He's whoever.
Wow. He probably has like 15 Gmail accounts.
And D-Style 915, you're live.
What's up, brother?
El 915. How's it going, guys?
What's happening, man?
I wanted to, well, first of all, I was calling in about this really quick. I do agree on the whole people just overusing the term exposed. And,
yeah.
I mean, Kownacki lost one fight. You know what I mean? Let's see where he goes. There is a such thing as a guy going back to the drawing board and improving and coming back, and that's a concept I think a lot of boxing fans have a hard time grasping because we are coming off the, no one's going to take my old era type of thing, but that's another story. People have dumbed down boxing in terms of, there's no blueprint to beat me and all that other crap. I don't want to dive into that, but I do agree with people going overboard with Kownacki getting exposed. It's a heavyweight division. That's another thing. People have not really watched heavyweight boxing for a very long time till recently. So upsets happen at heavyweight. I mean, Lennox Lewis got knocked out twice by two guys you could definitely argue he should not have lost to. But he came back in the eventual losses. So, shit happens. Vladimir Klitschko got knocked out 3 times. Guess what? He came back, had a 10-year reign. So anything can happen. With that said, the reason I called it because of sources. And one of the worst things that's happening right now, and why I personally have an issue with guys like Carpenter that just put out stories, and half of the time they're not true. When you have sources and you release a story, no one is saying that maybe your sources are wrong, and okay, I was in line, my sources were wrong, but your success rate should be extraordinarily high. It shouldn't be like 50-50. Even 80% of the time is not good. All right? So let me explain a personal situation that I was involved in. Not completely, but I was part of a team, Hellstorm Sports. Now defunct. It's not a thing anymore. But when I was doing hellstormsports.com, my buddy Scott Hale, a story fell in his lap. We were not doing just putting out there, we were not doing any investigative work or anything like that. It's a story that literally fell onto his lap, okay? He had one source, a very reliable source, that told him Eric Morales popped dirty, right, before the Danny Garcia fight. If I remember correctly, it was a rematch, right? This was a very reliable source, but he didn't even tell me or our partner Joe Calix because he said that's just one source. And if it's true, it's going to come out anyway, whatever. A second person, and there was nothing out there about it. 90 seconds. A second source called him. This source did not know his other source. They had no connection to one another, but told him the same thing. Hey, man, I got something to tell you. Eric Morales popped dirty by USADA. At that point, we started making calls. I called the New York State Athletic Commission. They knew nothing about it. And we were 50-50. Like, should we release it? What if it's not true and it makes us look bad?
60
we were actually
seconds.
concerned about that, right? Once a third source called him, right, and told him this, then it was on. At that point, we knew it was true because these 3 sources had no connection to one another. So we released the story. And we were confident that it was true. Granted, immediately when it came out, Eric Morales said it wasn't true, right? Golden Boy denied it right away. A lot of these same guys right now that release stories were saying, who are these guys? What do they know? They're not a reliable source, they were saying. And then it picked up steam. It came out to be true. I'm not going to mention the website, but a website came out, and
10 seconds.
We know for a fact they couldn't have known because of the sources we had a hold of. But a larger website put out the story, and then later on they kind of admitted to it, right? Now, the reason we knew it was true, because we had internal sources from the Garcia camp that told us, right? They offered them more money, right, to take the fight, to continue with the fight. That's how we knew, right? But with that said, that's how confident you're supposed to be when you release a story, right? It's not about using words like alleged. You're supposed to legally use the term alleged, okay? But using the term alleged is not a cop-out for making up a story, and then when it turns out not to be true, you could say, oh, I just said alleged. Like, no, bro. Like, you should be 99.9% sure that the story you're releasing is 100% true. And that is just a standard that I cannot speak for the rest of media, but in boxing media, that's not a standard people have, okay? I know people say release your sources. We couldn't release our sources. People would have lost their job and their career. That's why we couldn't release those sources. So I understand why sources sometimes have to be anonymous. I get that completely. Plus, when you have someone on the inside that gives you information, you don't put their name out there. That person's going to get fired. They're going to lose their career, and you're not going to have that inside scoop anymore. However, a lot of people, they just throw terms around. I heard from multiple sources. I heard from a source. And their success rate in terms of whether the story is true or not is very, very low. And that's troubling. But I just wanted to go ahead and kind of give that anecdote and how I've actually been involved in where we couldn't name sources, right? But the story was true. And look at the links that we went through just to make sure that before we released the story. That's all I'd say.
And if I remember correctly, he was talking to me about this, and I didn't repeat it at all. And then when he came out with it, and all the other websites would take his story and they would not credit him. They would not credit Hailstorm Sports. And that's the thing too. It's like just because you work for a big website, that's another thing that these guys have on their side, that if someone works for a big website, then automatically they think they can put whatever they want out, and then people are going to believe them just because of the website so big that they work for, and that's another problem.
Right. I think that's 100% accurate. Beeb, I don't know if you were with us when we interviewed Willie Monroe Jr. We were set. This was before he fought Triple G. Yeah. And we were set to fight, or we were set to talk to Willie Monroe Jr. Yeah. I think that day news broke, and it was like about his trainer. Something about his trainer was arrested for drugs and everything. And I called the guy associated with Willie Monroe, I think it was his manager at the time, and told him, I said, have you, do we still have an interview today or what's going on? And he says, I don't know anything about it. He had no idea because this had actually come out in the paper, like the newspaper, and, we knew about it, and we could have took the story and ran with it and said, hey, he's busted or whatever. We sat right on it. I didn't let anybody know. He says, man, could you do me a favor? He's like, you can't tell anybody. Don't spread it around. No problem. We didn't spread it around because it wasn't really, why would you do that to somebody? Let them deal with it. The paper's already broke it. It's going to get out. We didn't say anything. We got the interview a couple of months later with Willie Monroe or whatever. But the thing is, it was just like, I didn't want to smear anybody. I didn't think that was the right thing to do. It wasn't,
Well, it was just like when we interviewed Gerald Miller. Yeah. And he confirmed that, I have an offer on the table. Yeah. But I'm not going to accept it. I want more, basically. Mm-hmm. I want a better deal. Right. And then we kind of said that. We tweeted it out, and we were letting people know what he said. And people were still saying that what we were saying was bullshit. But we had it live on our show, But we had the quote, but no one would listen to because we're small. No one wanted to even listen to the show to find out. We made a specific video with just to the interview, and we actually tweeted out that specific interview, and we taglined it with, Gerald Miller has been offered the Joshua fight, whatever.
Right.
Oh no, he hasn't. Blah, 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 blah. And even people. That was when Jason was telling us we were lying. Even Jason was saying we were lying about it too.
Right.
And we had the quote.
Right. We got the quote.
And,
and I'll tell you what, the other thing is, like, when we're wrong, we'll come on and tell you right away.
Yeah, but we actually interviewed the guy. We had the guy on here, and we asked him, like, what's going on with the Joshua fight? We heard that, there's talks. He goes, yeah, I was offered they put a deal in front of me, but I got to. It wasn't that great, blah 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 blah, and then lo and behold, we come to find out that he got more money, and I guess it was we found out that the zone actually kicked in the extra money to make the fight happen.
Right.
I guess they threw 4 or 5 at him, and he ended up getting 7. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, but like when we make a mistake, we will come back on. When something falls through on the other guys, we see them on Twitter all the time. The bigger. When something falls through, you never hear them come back and say, oh, yeah, well, I missed that one. My sources were off on that one, blah, blah, blah. Instead of, because things change so fast, and we know this from just the many people we've talked to, the many people we've talked to on the inside and everything like that. When you're negotiating, this stuff changes on a dime. On a dime. You don't know what's going to happen. And until things are signed, it's never done. So I don't know, man.
And Coppinger knows that if he just puts out, Canelo and Billy Joe are in talks, it's not as sexy as, the fight's done. You know what I mean? He knows that. And then he intentionally makes clickbait titles so he can get clicks.
Right.
It's bullshit.
It's the name of the game, but it's like, do you really want to partake in that game? I don't.
And even these YouTube channels do it now.
Oh my God.
Like George Groves was quoted in an article, and he was talking about the Fury glove in the first fight. And we all know that he had a glove malfunction in the first fight with the left glove. So now all these YouTube channels went, even George Groves said Fury cheated. That, first of all, he didn't say that because he also said if that, by his hand slipping out of the glove like that, it's actually a disadvantage for him. Okay. Sure. He actually said that. He was quoted as saying that. And he was also quoted as saying that was the first fight, not the second fight. So all these idiots on YouTube took his quote and said, even George Groves said he was cheating. He never said he was cheating.
No.
And this is the ridiculousness we have now.
Some of the titles that I see on some of these YouTube channels are amazing to me.
Oh my God.
And you know what? And they get a ton of clicks and God bless you, whatever. You run with it and do what you want to do. But we could do the same thing and put this nonsense out there.
But we don't.
We don't.
And then you have like what I like to call cults. You have cults on here, right?
Yeah.
You have all these channels that are part of a group, right? And each and every one of them says the same exact thing. Like it's just groupthink, okay? Yeah. It's just groupthink. And you know why I call them a cult? You know what the difference between a group and a cult is? In a group, you have people that have various opinions, but not all the opinions are exactly alike. In a cult, everyone just repeats the same thing. That's a cult. Yeah. I'd rather, and I would never want to belong to a cult, even if it made me more popular. I could never not be my own person. Never.
It's to put on an act like that. I mean, and it is. It's because no rational person believes what they're spewing out there. It is. It's like, guys, I mean, come on, just be your own guy, man. Because you'll get clicks now, but you're not. I mean, I mean, is it worth acting like a clown over?
Well, I have to say that there's a lot of channels that are benefiting from acting like idiots. They're benefiting financially for it.
Sure.
And it's ridiculous, and it makes me sick. But I just like there's people that are making a Fury video about the glove. They're making Glovegate videos every day.
Every day.
And it's not
every
like
day.
And you know the most ridiculous thing about it? Nobody from the commission complained about it, questioned it. Listen, nobody from Wilder's camp complained about it. That's the one they've made it. Wilder has made every excuse in the book, but he has not once complained about the Fury's gloves.
Maybe he hadn't thought of it yet. And in case you guys don't know this, here's how it goes down. So the commission comes in while you're getting your hands wrapped. A member from the opposite team comes in while you're getting your hands wrapped. So let's say Fury is getting his hands wrapped. Deontay Wilder has somebody in there right next to him watching him get his hands wrapped very, very close. The commission is in there watching him get his hands wrapped. The hands wrapped, they go ahead and sign it. They watch him glove up, and that's it. I saw one of them saying, well, he cheated because he put a towel over there and they blocked the rim. Doesn't matter. There's still a Wilder representative in there or a Fury representative in the other locker room watching this happen. We all know this. And you know that those gloves are not tampered with.
Well, not only
that. But yet you make a video and all these people, yeah, you're right. This could have happened. Are you guys, this is, I tell you what, man, this is insane. It just is.
Not only that, before the fight, the referee will walk over to the fighter and grab his gloves and pull on his gloves and shake his gloves. So if his gloves are loose, then the referee's going to know that the fucking glove is loose. What happened in that first fight was a malfunction. His hand probably got sweaty inside the glove, just like when sweat makes the tape loose. Sweat can make the laces loose. Sweat can make the tape loose, which in turn makes the laces loose, which in turn makes the glove loose. And you could see him pulling on the first fight, pushing down, trying to pull his hand back in there, and actually tapping his glove and letting Jack Reese know there's something fucked up with this glove.
Right.
He told on himself. So like, why would he be trying to cheat if he's telling fucking Jack Reese? But no, but the clickbaiters aren't showing you this stuff.
No, because it doesn't match their agenda. And I got to on Twitter or whatever, there was this guy, like I said, Buhari, was it Kenneth? Is it Keith or Kenneth or
Kenneth
I don't know.
Somebody.
And he goes on and on telling me I've got an agenda, this and that. I'm like, hey, listen, I don't work for anybody. Nobody pays me. You know what I mean? I don't work for any of the big three. I have no agendas. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. These guys look for this so much that it's just,
it's
I don't
just
get
ridiculous.
It really is. It really is. So, all right, guys. One more quick story here. Floyd Mayweather says he can teach Wilder how to beat Fury.
Yep.
Floyd Mayweather came out this week and says he can teach Wilder how to beat Fury, which, of course, to me begs the question: how come he's not doing the same for his fighters? If he's that good of a coach and everything like that. Hey, why doesn't he have the next golden boy? Why doesn't he have what happened to all his fighters? He got one guy, Tank. Where's his other fighters at? His other fighters coming up, I don't know. Just talks a lot. He promotes himself. Promotes your fighters. That's what you need to do. Promote your fighters. Don't worry about Wilder. He's not in your stable. Don't worry about him. Worry about your fighters.
That's right.
Start promoting those guys. He's the one that passed on Shakur Stevenson. Can you believe he passed on Shakur Stevenson?
I don't know why.
Good for Stevenson. I mean, that was great for Shakur that he passed on him.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine where Shakur would be right now? Nowhere.
Shelved.
He's shelved, right?
Those guys get no fights over there.
None, man. Ashley Theophane. That's his boy, I don't know. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. You can catch me on Twitter at Ringside73. And, of course, you can catch our YouTube channel at RingsideReporterLive.com. And, hey, have a good week, man. We will see you next time.